All right, guys, it's the time we've all been waiting for, selective coloring in Photoshop. Now, this basically involves making an entire image black and white, except for one color. Like, probably the best use of this I've ever seen was in the movie Schindler's List, where the image, the video was in black and white, and they had a girl wearing like a red coat, and you could kind of follow her around the movie, and it was like a very good way of like saying like, oh, cool, I'm following around this person during this entire scene. It's a, you know, it's a great movie. It's not a happy time movie, but it is a great movie. Very good use of selective color. I've also seen it used in a bunch of cases where I was like, ooh, okay. So I'll show you how to do it, and it'll be up to you on how you decide to use it. So let's go ahead and open up our 07 selective color. We're gonna hit open here. There we go. Let's hit F for full screen. So we're gonna, in keeping with our Schindler's List reference, we're gonna keep the red dress. So let's start off by creating a new layer. I'm gonna go to select color range. This is the best way to do it. So go to select your color range, and then you just wanna click on the color that you want to keep in your image. Now, in this case, you can see it's not getting the whole dress. That's not a big deal. You wanna bring your fuzziness up a little bit, okay? And then you can use this little plus eyedropper there. So you can use your plus eyedropper, and then you just kind of like click around your image, and you're like, hey, you know, include everywhere I click on the plus icon, okay? All right, there we go. Plus, 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 clicking on the plus. There we go. And if it's not 100% perfect, don't be sad. It's just a layer mask. You can change it at any time. So that looks pretty good to start with. Let's hit OK there. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna click on my black and white adjustment layer. There we go. And there we're gonna see, it actually turned my dress black and white, which I actually think looks pretty good in this image. Matches the road. Let's hold Alt or Option, and I'm gonna click on my layer mask. So here, we need to refine our layer mask a little bit because it's including some of our background. So a great way to do this, let's just use our brush tool. We're gonna paint with black, and we'll change our brush blend mode to overlay. So it's just gonna take, remember we did this earlier? It just takes the blacks and makes them darker, but it's not really gonna affect my lights, okay? So we just kind of like paint right over top of her face because we don't wanna affect her face or her hand really. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. We don't want to affect her feet. Okay, now we'll switch to white. So we'll just make sure all this goes to completely to white. And a great layer mask selection, you know, you want basically just completely black and completely white. Okay, now if it's not doing exactly what you want, like here I'm painting black on the feet, but it's not getting it because that's a little too light. Not a big deal. Just change your layer blend mode from overlay back to normal on your brush. There we are. And you just want to paint just with your black right over top of there. All right, we'll get the little hand there. Perfect. And we'll get the hair over there. All right. That looks pretty good. Okay, so here we have a really nice layer mask. I'm gonna hold Alt or Option and click on my layer mask once more. So we can see, in fact, we have desaturated our dress, right? Hue saturation, or black and white, we've done that. Now, in keeping with true selective color, we actually want the opposite to be true. We want the rest of the image to be black and white and just the dress to have color. So what we need to do, it's really easy. Just click on your layer mask and hit Control or Command I to invert your layer mask. And here we have a black and white image with just a red dress. So pretty cool. Now you can always go further with this. You can continue to do interesting things if you'd like. You can add, I don't know, for instance, I might go with solid color maybe a nice complementary something like this, pop a soft light on there. So at least we have like, you know, a couple, well, let's throw that in a multiply. There we go. Something like that's kind of interesting. So we have at least like some complementary colors working on there. Okay, maybe that was not so interesting, so let's just delete it. Maybe you could do some other type of color toning. Maybe we'll split tone it. Let's go to a levels adjustment layer. Pop some blue into the shadows and yellows into the highlights. There we go. We've got red, yellow, and blue now, which is a really nice color triad. So you can do other fun things like this if you want to. And then, of course, with your selective color layer, you could then change your saturation on that as well. So you could have it be not 100% visible. You could go down to 50% visible. You can do all kinds of fun stuff. But in true selective color, you want your entire image to be black and white except for one thing that you want to be red. And there we go. So it's a pretty easy technique. You guys can all do this in the safety of your own homes. And it's up to you on how you'd like to use it. So selective color, basically use select color range. Go ahead and select that color. Then you want to refine your layer mask, make it a really nice layer mask. All you have to do is load that. Now just once you have your selection, load a black and white adjustment layer and then invert your layer mask and you've got selective color. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.